what world is pleasuring yourself to avoid dealing with your emotions a normal thing? I literally just woke up right now and I'm choosing violence because I've had enough of the world treating it normally when it's not normal. There's nothing normal about gooning and pornography. Masturbation, that's a whole other topic, which is debatable. But pornography and gooning and all that stuff, there's no way that this is normal for us. Just imagine yourself, just look at yourself. This is my bed right here. Look at yourself doing it. Have a third person's perspective on yourself when you are feeling these urges and you want to do it. Wouldn't you be disgusted by this person who's doing it? There's so much more to life than this. I promise you, just get the hell out of your house and smell some grass, or not smell, smoke, but touch some freaking grass. Look at how beautiful this shit is. Sunrise about to happen, and look at this old man walking his dog, because he's a top G out here. I'm not saying I support top G. I'm just saying, be like this man. Walk outside, enjoy nature. I promise you, people are very beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than bonding with someone. There's nothing more pleasurable than bonding with not only a girl but also a guy, just having some deep conversation with them. But if you constantly always goon and fap until you can't even feel any emotion because you've literally released all your emotions through your freaking then you have no capacity to connect with the world and the people. And this is what life is all about. Not this. I know it could be a tough time for you right now. I've been through it. I've struggled with pornography because I've gone through tough times. But
tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.
the solution is not this. These tough times are there to teach you something. It taught me so many things. And by the end of it, I learned so much about the world, myself, people. There's so much to learn about this. You can really make this the best thing that happened to you. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but some people actually consider falling trapped into this addiction the best thing that happened to them because of how much you can learn about yourself in the journey of overcoming it. And it does not have to happen now. It's a long journey. It took me around 3 years. I was able to quit it for a year and then I came back to it. And then after a year, I was able to overcome it once again. No matter how long it takes, the journey of overcoming it is so rewarding. In this video, I'm trying to convince you that it is so rewarding and you should actually give it a try and see how it goes. Maybe start with 30 days. It's currently Ramadan, so if you're a Muslim and you fast and you're a good Muslim, then use that to your advantage. When you're fasting, you have less urges. It's true, and I've seen people actually talk about, oh my God, being sober is so easy while fasting. So try it and see how that goes. You have 3 weeks left. Make that 3-week challenge if you failed in the first week of Ramadan. The challenge shouldn't only entail you not doing it for 30 days, but also try to challenge yourself, do some things that are out of your comfort zone, because that is how you'll notice the beauty of life. That's how you'll notice the power that NoFap gives you. You become so comfortable in uncomfortable situations, as you've seen in my previous videos if you've watched them. I'm willing to literally get up in public and just stand in front of people and just scream something or announce something without being afraid, scared, or overthinking. But if you spend all your days and nights doing this, how can you expect yourself to not even judge yourself? If you're too scared to deal with your emotions, how can you deal with other people's emotions on you? AKA them judging you or them confronting you because you're doing something weird like standing on a chair. You will notice that if you're able to overcome this, you'll be able to own your actions, be more confident in what you're doing. I remember I used to be very hesitant in a lot of the things that I'm doing. Second guess everything. Conversations, questions that I'd like to ask people, or jokes that I want to share. I would always second guess myself. And I strongly believe that it's partly because of this. And also if you've seen what that industry does and treats women, there are a lot of stories of ex-porn stars who open up about the horrible, unethical things that happen in that industry. And it's not only to them, but also to, trigger warning, it happens to children. It's a disgusting industry. And the more you look into it, there's a good chance that it will help you avoid it and not use it. So do your research. And every time you think of, oh, let me go there, remind yourself of the horrible things this company does to you and does to the world as a whole. There are lawsuits that are fighting very hard to beat them. But of course, money is power. And if you have all that power, it's kind of hard to beat them down. But people are trying. I'll put links down in the description for people you can support on their journey to fight these freaking demons. And there's also people talking to the government and trying to get them to ban that site for people who are not over 18. Because right now it's just like a click of a button. Oh, I verify I am over 18. Boink, go ahead, you're free. So people like Lucid, for example, he's advocating for the States and for Canada to have a better verification system so that these kids who accidentally fall into this trap, like I did, like most of the rest of the world did, to be able to not happen again. That is one good step that can potentially help reduce the number of addictions that the world has right now. Because when we're older, when we're 18 plus, we are able to think for ourselves. We are able to say no to things. But when we're 12, 13, 14, everything we see, we put in here and we do not have a filter. We take in, we learn, and this has caused so many horrible things that men do. There are ex-molesters and all the bad, like rapists and all the other horrible things that men could do on women and children. They confessed how a big part of why they started this is because pornography normalized it. And once you're young and you're watching all these horrible things, you think it's normal because you have no other thing to believe. That's all you see. So you think, oh, that's how kids are made. That's how you make love to women, by beating them. But no. And that's exactly why Lucid is fighting against that. Because a big chunk of the problems that the world face and the problems that pornography causes is coming from the fact that people are getting into it in their teens. Lucid talks about all the numbers, all the stats, all the reason in his video that I recommend you guys to watch. I thought I was done, but I have more to say. We are raising a generation that is relying on pornography to deal with their emotions. I'm scared for Gen Z. If the only way they can deal with their emotions is by doing that, and it's going to get worse and worse because their children are going to do the same thing because we imitate what we see. And if a parent is addicted to something, they will not be able to hide it from their kids. Kids walk all around the place. They open doors and they will see things and they will get traumatized. You will freaking traumatize your freaking kids. It has to start with you. Break the freaking cycle before you break your whole family chain. This addiction has caused so many families to break. There is a lot of celebrities, for example, who confessed their partner was about to end the relationship because they couldn't stand it anymore. And as I mentioned in the end of this video, it makes us restless. We become very short-tempered. I've heard stories of fathers and parents who are very short-tempered, and as a result, they just cause so much hassle and struggle, not for the wife only, but also for the kids. But I don't know, I'm not sure who my viewers are, if they're fathers or just young people like me. But here's something that both populations can relate to: having a purpose in life. I think that is the biggest thing that pornography inhibits. And it's like a loop. The more you do it, the more you lose touch with a purpose in life. I think as people who are masculine, we need to have something to pursue. And if you have nothing to pursue, or the only thing that you're pursuing is pornography, or women in general, then you will not be satisfied. This is not how men get satisfied. It's not with women. A lot of celebrities mention that. A lot of famous rich people have shared their stories of how they have all the money, they have all the power, they have all the women, but that's not fulfilling for them. Because what's fulfilling for us men, and that is also, it's scientifically backed. There's research on that, and we can see it through evolution. Men need something to work on. They need to have a purpose in life, basically. And it's kind of impossible to have this North Star, that purpose in your life, if you're too busy using your powerful brain into pornography. Your brain has to be clear and clean to be able to think clearly on hard problems to solve. And through these hard problems that you're solving, that is how you're able to fulfill your purpose, whatever it is. Some people's purpose is to have a good family. Others is to be able to teach the world something, educate the world. Others are deeply religious and they want to feel connected to God, and they want to help the world feel connected to God as well. There's so many things you could do instead of this. There's so many possible purposes you could have which will significantly elevate your life forward and give you a fulfilling life. But all that is not possible if you're too busy gooning. Good things take time, and that is a fact. I know how amazing it feels in the moment when you're immersed into this world where your problems are no longer bothering your brain, and in some way you could describe it as heaven because you're not worried about anything. You're just in bliss, you can say, whether it's in having sex or pornography in general. Because of evolution and biology, this is who we are. We need to and want to spread our seed. So you have to look through the disguise that these porn videos have. It's just a mask. Just reveal that mask, open up and look straight through what this really means to you. I don't know if I explained this correctly or properly. You need to see through the lies that pornography is hiding from you. When you see these videos, deeply think about what is really being shown in here. Is it really showing you true love, true connection with the world? I refuse to stay quiet on this topic because I know how harmful it is and how damaging it can become, not only to yourself, but to people around you. And this is why I'll continue talking about it. And I'm not scared of sharing my thoughts on this in my day-to-day interactions. If you pass by me, talk to me about it. I'll try my best to help you. I'm not an addiction therapist or a counselor. I'm just someone who freaking hates it and advocates to erase it out of the world's existence. There's no benefit to it. Absolutely no benefit. For example, smoking, I can see some benefit to it. I don't smoke, but there is an argument for smoking weed, for example. But pornography, no. Absolutely not. I'm not saying you should replace that addiction with smoking. If I had to tell you what you should do, I would recommend not smoking, not drinking, not taking any drugs, not doing anything, not relying on anything. The closest thing that you can consider addiction for me is music. I enjoy music, but I refuse to let myself get addicted to anything that's actually addicting. I can stop listening to music if I want to. So I consider music fine, as long as I can control it. But I refuse to take on anything or consume anything that can potentially cause me to rely on it. Because I don't want to rely on anything. And this is how all men should think. I do have another clip where I'll share more tangible information on why you should stop it and the benefits that you get. Because there's quite a lot of benefits. Check it out. Main benefits is that you'll stop thinking from here and you start thinking from here and from here. When you consume pee, this gets quiet. Your heart, in other ways, the love that you have for the world is no longer there. It dies out. You kill it by consuming pee. As I mentioned, you feel like a kid again. I don't know about your motivations for quitting pee, But at least for me, it was to bring back that brain that was able to focus clearly on things that I enjoyed. And I enjoyed a lot of things. Even things that are currently boring, I used to enjoy them. But because of P, you end up not being able to focus and work and a lot of other bad things. And also, you get to see women for what they really are. Because I used to, and a lot of people I know, put a pedestal on women and think they're like, oh, they're the best thing. They're amazing. Thank God for Girls, a song by Weezer. But they're just women. Talk to them normally. Somehow, it's counterintuitive. The more you do it, the more you consume it, the more your brain thinks of it and keeps you horny. People think like, oh, you've been sober for a year? How? Aren't you extremely horny? I'm like, no. 1 year after you don't do it, it doesn't even cross your mind. So, as I mentioned, it does become easier over time. But when you do it all the time, people think like, oh, the more I do, the more I consume it, the more I stop thinking about it. People do PMO as a way to quiet the mind and stop being horny. But it's exactly what causes you to be horny more and more until you start consuming these extreme fetishes and the dark side of P, which just makes things worse for you. So dopamine and hormones work in mysterious ways, but in simple terms, you are never satisfied with what you have. You always want more and more in P and in life in general, but especially when you consume P, you crave more connection from the world because you're always telling yourself you lack it every time you do it. I think this is very important, this note that I just shared. The more you do it, the more you crave connection from the world. Because when you do it, you are subconsciously telling yourself that you lack it, you don't have it. So you go seek it in very unhealthy ways. And this constant craving to want to be connected with the world, but you can't really because you're just stuck with connecting with your phone or laptop that you use to watch. The more you do that, it results in you not enjoying life, not being satisfied with life and what you have, not being grateful, as I mentioned. Because wherever you are, wherever you go, whether you're traveling the world with the hottest woman, with the best friends, you still feel a sense of lack within you. That P temporarily fills that gap. But when P is not part of your life, as I mentioned, it doesn't even cross your mind, it shows that you are secure within yourself. You're able to give love to yourself and receive love from the world, whether if you're living alone or with friends or family, doesn't matter. You can still feel love within yourself and from the world around you by not consuming P. You don't need P to tell you that you matter, subconsciously telling you that you matter, because you know deep within that you matter. That also reminds me of a book I read over 2 years ago now called I Am, I think. It's called I Am. One thing that it talks about was the addiction. And it said that this addiction comes from that need to matter. Everyone has their own way of feeling like they matter in this world. Whether it's through the work that they do, through the friendships that they have, through the family that they always keep in touch with, whatever it is. But some people feel like they lack it. And once you feel like you lack that, you cling on to that addiction, to P. Because in whatever way it is for them, they do not feel like they're connected and they don't feel like they belong to this world and its people. So they just cling on to things that make them feel like they belong temporarily. That's a whole nother video for another day because it's a very big topic. But I do have a small short video that's very beautiful, I'd say, that talks about the feeling of belongingness. So check it out if you find that interesting or you struggle with feeling like you belong somewhere. One last note, I don't know about you guys, but after I used to consume it, the few hours after it, I'd become very irritable. I would get annoyed by the slightest things that people do around me, whether it's your friends, your family, your lovers, and sometimes these episodes might cause permanent harm to your relationships with them. So in general, I've noticed that P caused me to be more short-tempered, and less patient and empathetic. It's probably tied to how in these videos they objectify the woman and treat her as an object, unfortunately, which are all related to the notion of toxic masculinity. Making sure it's being recorded, yes sir. All this is just the tip of the iceberg. FYI, this video is actually a part of an ongoing series where I share everything that I've learned from my journey of overcoming this addiction. The next video will be about why are you so horny? We will dig deep into what's going on in our heads and your inner demons, so it becomes easier to understand them and battle them. But for that to happen, I need you guys to drop 50 likes on this video so I can know that you guys actually want that next video. So as soon as we hit it, I will drop it. Like it's hot. I did drop a 55-minute video last month where I basically combined all these 3 parts, but I'm planning to add more to it and split them into 3 different videos, this one being the first. But if you are currently struggling with it and you need help right now, I would recommend you guys to check out that video because it has all the information and all the resources you would need to actually get started on your journey to overcome P. And with that said, I wish you the best of luck in your journey of living a sober life.